All right, a very good morning to you. This is Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. Like Michael told you before now, this is the special edition of the platform here on Flow 94.9 FM. Welcome. My name is Ginika Olwa. All right, I will be talking to a guest who is already seated in the studio. He is a trained lawyer, a businessman, member, National Executive Council of APC, and spokesperson, APC Caucus in Abia State. He is also the leader of APC Bende Caucus. He is the member representing Bende Federal Constituency at the Federal House of Representatives. He is also the official spokesperson of the Federal House of Representatives and the chairman, House Committee on Media and Public Affairs. I am talking about Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu. Honorable, good morning. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me, and listeners, thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to be back to Abia State to give a report of what we're doing in Abuja. Always a delight.
After the campaigns, I don't think you've been in this studio again before. I think that was before the elections.
I think I've been here once after that.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's start with your activities there at the National Assembly, House of Representatives, precisely. I understand that this joint committee probing the Niger Delta Development Commission, I think they've concluded their probe. What is the situation as it stands today? Remember, the governor of Rivers State talking about Nyesom Wike said over the weekend or last week that NDDC is so corrupt that he hasn't seen any commission that is so corrupt like NDDC. What's the situation of that probe?
The job of the legislators is to reflect the desire, the ambition, the wishes of those who elected them, the citizens. And so when we receive calls from the citizens who happen to be our bosses to look into a particular sector in the conduct of our oversight functions, which is our constitutional mandate, we have no choice than to oblige. A motion was moved on the floor of the House of Representatives by no mean person, in the person of the Deputy House Leader, known as Honorable Ikpeazu. That particular motion necessitated the formation of an investigative committee, investigative hearing under the committee of NDDC of the House. And we went the whole 9 years in carrying out that investigation, and I fully participated. I was on the front line on that investigation. That investigation has been completed. There was live coverage of that investigation, and we have submitted our report to the House of Representatives. It follows the procedures of the House that after the submission of such reports, there will be what is called consideration of report. Okay. Because of our going on recess and coming back facing the budget, we've not been able to take care of that. Hopefully the House will look at that consideration of report after the completion of the budget appropriation bill that we are handling at the moment. Thereafter, we'll pass the ball to the executive. As you know, we only make resolutions that we forward to the executive and they implement. That is what the Constitution said. So far, that's what we have done on that. And yes, there were certain things that we had discovered in the course of our investigation. Nyesom Wike may not be completely wrong, but it is our duty to discover as a watchdog on the executive. And with our recommendation, I'm sure that the executive will be able to sit up in making sure they fulfill the mandate of their office.
So obviously you are promising that as soon as that particular report is presented before the National Assembly, you're going to do a kind of follow-up to make sure that whatever thing or the recommendation therein is followed later.
The report has been presented. We have submitted, we have laid, we call it laying of report. Okay. It has been laid by the committee chairman before the House of Representatives. So what is the next thing is for the leadership of the House to call for consideration of reports.
Yeah. Okay, now let's move over to another issue that has been, generating a whole lot of controversies. That's the issue of Electoral Act, the amendment bill, which is I don't know if it has gotten to your chambers as it stands today. I know that many Nigerians, just last week, the former INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu said and also pleaded with the National Assembly to ensure that they speed up whatever thing they are doing to make sure that that electoral amendment bill is passed.
Thank you very much. The need for an electoral legal framework reform in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized because it has become a necessity. And this is against the backdrop of election malpractices, widespread rejection of declared results, violence, loss of lives and properties during elections. These are actually given birth to by the electoral flaws found in our laws. More importantly, our electoral laws is seen to be outdated.
Yep.
It's about 10 years. It's no longer meeting the needs of the people. It is ill-equipped to adequately address the concerns that the very foundation of our democracy seeks to address. And it is on the basis of these that the House considered it an issue to be prioritized on when the House emerged as the Ninth Assembly. In our legislative agenda, we put Electoral Act as one of the issues that we would like to take care of, because that is the wish of Nigerians.
Exactly.
That is the hunger that for Nigerians, from Nigerians. They want it to be, touched up, to be able to meet global best practices. And this was scratched, I must say, by the Eighth Assembly, who also had the desire to make a change in that particular law, but it was not assented to by the president because of some of the type of graphical errors that was discovered in that particular bill that was presented before the president. In this Ninth Assembly, since we prioritize on it, the chairman of the Committee on Electoral Matters, that is INEC, Honorable Dr. Ashiatu Jibril Duku, now sponsored that we look at this law, again, through a bill for an act to repeal the existing Electoral Act number 6 of 2010 and replace it with Independent National Electoral Commissions Act 2020. And the question has been, why are we looking at amending this law? What is wrong with it? I have mentioned before that it is now ill-equipped to meet the dynamics in the society. It is also important to note that so many flaws have been found in that law, and we have also noticed that there is a great nexus between effective and efficient electoral legal framework and the conduct of free and fair election. If the framework is good, you can now rely on a strong institution to be able to deliver the expectation of the electorate. But if the institution is weak, it will not be able to do justice to the mandate of the people. We also are going into the amendment of this act because we want to consolidate on the gains of our democratic achievements. We are about 20 years in democracy. When we have scored 1 or 2 marks, if we don't strengthen our laws, the legal framework, what we have gained in democracy, we will also lose by these flaws that are all over the place. And also considering that the election is coming up in 2023, and noticing that these flaws, if they are allowed to exist, will cause us more harm in 2023 election. That was what made it to be more expedient for us to look at it. What are those gaps that we needed to look at? We are looking at the electronic use of card reader, the technological devices like the card reader and electronic voting.
Yes, and diaspora voting.
It's not captured in our laws at the moment. We're also looking at the gap. It's not captured as it's supposed to be in our laws, so we are strengthening that. Then we have criteria for substitution of candidates is weak as it is in our laws. We want to strengthen that. Disclosure of source of fund contributed to political parties We don't know if political parties are funded by Boko Haram or funded by any terrorist organization. We want to address that. We also want to address the amount of contribution to political parties. There is a limit to which you can contribute to political parties now, so that you don't lord the party over the members of the party. So
as an individual.
As an individual.
Okay.
So we are watching that. We're also looking at the limit of a fund that should be available for expenses by candidates of the various parties and for various positions, from the presidency to the governorship election to House of Reps, Senate, and all the rest of them. There is a particular amount of money that we are fixing now that you must spend. You're not expected to spend above that particular amount.
Yeah.
So we are also looking at the penalty for possession of fake voters card. Oftentimes you see people carrying bundles of voters card around. Now, if they catch you now, the punitive measure is higher. We're also looking at how to replace lost and destroyed permanent voters card. So many people have the temporary card. They say they have lost their main one. It's been taken care of. We are also looking at how to conduct primary elections. We should not be earlier than 150 days to the election, and not later than 120 days before the date of the election. We're also looking at providing a timeline for a submission of list of candidates. We're looking at the limitation of campaign expenses. I've mentioned that. And also those who their names are missing or their logos are missing on the ballot paper, we are bringing up a law that will make sure that their interest is covered. Why is this necessary? These gaps need to be blocked because in 2015, if you recall the election in Kogi State, where a governor that was winning, that was seen to be more a leading candidate was not alive at the time the announcement of the results was made, and we found ourselves in a quagmire on how to rectify that. So we are also looking at the clauses that borders on death of a candidate, during the election. So those gaps we have noticed over time, we're going to look at that. I have mentioned that it started with 8th Assembly. So what we are doing now is that we are not jettisoning, we're not throwing away the input made by the 8th Assembly.
Okay.
We are taking what they have done. We're also taking executive proposals from INEC. Their proposal, the draft of their proposal, we are incorporating it, and then we are also introducing new provisions into the act. The first hearing of this bill was done on the 21st of July 2020 by this 9th Assembly, and the second hearing was done on the 24th of November 2020. The structure of the bill is that we're going to be amending about 300 clauses of this bill, and when we have more time, we'll be able to discuss them section by section on what the issues are all about.
Okay, if you're just joining us, this is a special edition of the platform here on Flow 94.9 FM, and I've been speaking with the official spokesperson of the Federal House of Representatives and the Chairman House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. Is here attending to some few questions we have for him. My name is Ginika Olwa, like I told you earlier. Now, Honorable, let's come back home. You are a NEC member of the APC. What does this your
before you come back home, are you also aware that we are working on the PIB bill?
Yes, we'll look at that.
We'll look at that?
Yes, we'll look at that.
Okay.
Yes, but let us come back home. You're a member of the NEC of the APC.
Yes.
I want to know, this is your position. What does it portend for APC in Abia State?
Being a member of NEC, is one of the highest decision-making body of APC. And as a first-timer in the House, it's an elevated honor for me to be appointed to represent the interests of the Southeasterners in the House of Representatives before the National Executive Council of the party. My nomination was made by the leadership of the Parliament. Based on my contributions and my serious work for the party, and I was recommended to be there. And what it portends is that we are at the center of what happens in the ruling party.
Okay.
We are not visitors, we are not spectators, we are participants. And when you are participating, you have a stronger view of what is happening around this, especially what we call in sociology participatory observation. And the strength of participatory observation cannot be compared to somebody who is a spectator on the flanks. So it means that Abia State is sitting where decisions of the party is made. It means that we can call up the chairman of the party, national chairman of the party, and discuss issues affecting Abia State and all the rest of them. So it's a benefit. It's an honor for Abia State.
Okay, still talking politics. Now, going by this, what happens to the opposition role that the APC is supposed to be playing in the state? I don't know if you're aware that your party has not been speaking out, especially when it has to do with some policies of state government. Does it bother you?
Of course, it bothers me. That is their job to do. That is the role of opposition. At the federal level, the PDP is speaking up. They're speaking out. They are attacking the government. And they are not attacking the government because they hate the government. They are attacking the government so that the government can sit up. That is how democracy works. That is how it works. And anything short of that is not democracy. It's not democratic. Because as a party in opposition, you help the party that is leading to sit up and to deliver their best. And when they deliver their best, they will be celebrated. In fact, opposition is supposed to help the ruling party achieve their targets and take the credit. That is how it's supposed to be. So anybody who is shying away from talking about what is happening in the state, if it is not good, if it is not people oriented, the person is not a Democrat. I don't think Governor Ikpeazu will want to silence anybody who is talking about issues that borders on his government. He's highly educated. He's a Democrat, and if you watch his body language, you find out that he's not a desperate leader. He's not a man who is a do or die politician. He's a man who he's a teacher from the classroom. So if you correct him, just like he corrects others, he will take it in good faith. But what may not be good is to use foul languages against your leader. That I don't subscribe to. But you can make your comment, you can make your point, you can address issues and get them attended to. That is what it's supposed to be. So we are receiving it at the federal level, and I expect my party at the state to sit up and speak about what people want that is not being done. Anywhere they notice it, they should speak it up, because they will be helping this current government by doing that. And luckily enough, I've been made the leader of caucus of Bende in Abia State. I'm going to speak. Okay. I've also been made the public image maker of the caucus in the state, the spokesperson, the official spokesperson of the APC in Abia State. So I'm going to speak.
Okay.
So and when I speak, it should be seen as helping the advancement of democracy. And everybody knows me, knows that Benjamin is not petty. I speak to facts. Okay. I speak to issues. I don't speak against persons. And so going forward, we are going to be doing what is expected to be done in our democracy, being the watchdog of the ruling party, just the same way they are the watchdog of the ruling party at the federal government.
Since you are here, maybe you should take the first shot. Are you aware that the state government some parastatals are being owed backlog of salaries, talking about ABSUT, HMB and the rest of them? What's your take of that?
They should be paid. If they are owed salaries, they should be paid. That's my take on it. Because that is what governance is all about. Unless the government is having difficulties, if they're having difficulties, they have to re-strategize and prioritize. The provision of the Constitution is that if you are in power, you take care of the security and welfare of citizens. Welfare includes their having food on their table. That is the primary purpose of government. Anything short of that, you can build me the skyscraper, you can build me an aeroplane. If you don't take care of my security, if you don't take care of my welfare, it's useless to me. So the most important thing for this government is to make sure that every labor is entitled to his wages, and those wages must be paid. So if there are limited resources, which I believe is the case in so many states, why don't you set your scale of preference right and prioritize by making sure that those things that are taking the least on your list of priority will come first? And the formula to be used in determining that is the constitutional provision that security and welfare of citizens supposed to be the mandate and the responsibility of every government. So there is no tax achieved by my friend Dr. Kezie's administration that is far better than putting bread on the table of people who have worked for the state. There is nothing more important than paying of salaries. So they should cut out other projects and prioritize on making sure that salaries are paid. And those who are receiving salaries must make sure that they justify their wages. Because oftentimes, I've been in government at the local government level. I've also been in the government in the state government level. Most of the people who are demanding these salaries, they don't go to work. Ask them, what value are they adding to the governance of this Dr. Ikpeazu? It's easy to say, I'm not being paid salary. Yes, you demand your salary. But can you really conscientiously justify that you deserve that wages when you went to work only 2 times in a week? When you went to work only once in a month? I was a local government chairman, and I noticed that the people whose name appeared on my payroll increasing my expenses were ghost workers. They were never there to work. I started coming to work by 7 a.m. and I went to my payroll and I found out, I said, if you don't come to work by 8 and I see you sign, then you don't deserve the next wages. And at the end of the day, I found out that we were paying people who were not resourceful to the government. What is killing every administration is the civil servants. They kill the administration, both at the state and at the federal level. It's good to say we need salary. Yeah, you need salary to be paid, but what role are you playing for the good governance, for the growth of government in your state? If you are in worst department, you are in worst department. If we want to patch road, we are outsourcing it. If we want to do any correction on the light, if we are going to pay a lot of money to contractors. What value are you adding? So you are a teacher. The kids who you are teaching, they are not passing exams, and we still have to hire extramural classes for them to pass exams.
So who is supposed to fix the system?
Who's supposed to fix the system is the government and the people. If there is a willingness of the government to fix the state, the people also should be able to reciprocate. I say that because, you see, I don't believe anybody who works should not be paid, but I believe those who ask for payment should justify their work. Show me what you have done. There should be a yardstick of measuring those who are working for state government. That your name appeared on the payroll and you go home and you be sleeping. You say you are in the Ministry of Agriculture and you are not tapping into the resources that we have as farmers, especially in this part of Abia State. What kind of agricultural worker are you, department worker are you doing? We need to see innovations in that particular sector that will contribute to the growth of the state. We need to see innovation in the education sector that will contribute to the growth of the state. We need to go in the industry and not the rest of them. We need to see you contributing to the growth of the state. So if you cannot measure and say 1, 2, 3, 4 is what we have set to achieve as a roadmap in this ministry, and this is how far we have gone about achieving them in the last quarter, in the next quarter, then you are not fit to just to ask for your wages.
Okay. All right, I stole the special edition of the platform here on Flow 94.9 FM. I've been speaking with the member representing Bend Federal Constituency at the Federal House of Representatives and the official spokesperson of the Federal House of Representatives, Chairman, House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. Honorable, we'll take a breather now. When we come back, we have a whole lot to talk about. Please.
No problem.
Stay with us.
94.9 FM. We've got conducive and well-secured environment for business. High-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.
All right, welcome back. It's still the special edition of the platform here on Flow 94.9 FM. Like I told you before we went at that break, I've been speaking with the Chairman House Committee on Media and Public Affairs and the Federal House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. Honorable, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we are still talking about the activities in Abia State. Now, I want to get your reaction. You've been in Abia for quite a while now.
Yeah.
what will be your general assessment in terms of infrastructure put in place by state government?
A lot needs to be done there. A lot needs to be done. The excuses that the resources are not enough is no longer cogent. I think the Ministry of Works of the state, the commissioner in charge of works for the state, is not helping the administration of Ikpeazu. I say so because the governor is not the one that is going to be conducting that responsibility in that ministry. There's no innovation. They're still doing things in the traditional way. Listen, innovation will always replace tradition that is not productive. And the only way that you can drive innovation is through technology. It is the responsibility of the works department to bring up ideas on how to solve our hydra-headed infrastructural problems. There is no running away from it. They should be creative enough, innovative enough to prefer solutions. The roads are horrible. That is the truth. And nobody should, say it's a lie. It stares you on the face that the roads are horrible. How are we managing the resources we have in getting these things achieved? How did Ebonyi get to where they are? How come if you go to Ebonyi, you see they get the same amount or even less, and yet the roads are well done? Innovation, creativity. What has happened to our own minds? It is easy to condemn the governor. Yes, he's vicariously liable because he's the one in charge. He's the one who sits there. He's my friend. He sits there. So if there's any blame, it must go to him. But maybe the time has come for him to overhaul the system. The people who are there, I don't know them by them. I've never met some of them before, but they are not helping his administration. And if they are not delivering the expected outcome, he should change them. He should overhaul them and bring dynamic, people with innovative minds that will be able to help him with 1 naira that he has to achieve 1 mile that he needs. Not using the 1 naira that he has to take us 2 steps backward, 2 miles backward. The ability to use what he has to achieve what he desires is what this administration needs. At the moment, we are not getting it. We can shout on the radio station that it all is well, but it all is not well. And I said it, that I'm going to watch my friend as the governor, see how he goes about his activities. And if the things are not going the way it's supposed to do, I am going to be on the radio station. I am going to scream on the rooftop because I want him, by the time he is done, that his name will be written in gold. He is a good man. He is a good man as a person. He's a decent, humble man. But we need to make marks, because I belong to the same political family with him. But forget about the PDP and APC. We grew up from the same political family, and I'll keep saying it anywhere I am. And because we came out from the same political family, I want him to be successful. I want him to win, so that whenever they make reference, they will say that this is what he was able to achieve when he's there. And we have only 2 years, so it is high time he restructured a lot of things within his government to make sure we use the little we have. Nobody is saying he has a lot. We are saying the little that he has must be well channeled, and all the gaps where this money is being, is leaking from, where the revenues leak from, where money coming to state government leaks from, they must be blocked. That is where the Commissioner for Finance also need to sit up to make sure that we block all the gaps where money is leaking from, so that the man can use what they can gather to achieve things that will put his name in good. He's not coming for 3rd term. This is the time. I was one of those who supported for an Ungwa man to come on board. But if he doesn't deliver at the end of this administration, then what people are going to be looked at in a different way. So it is high time all of us put our hand on the deck. And I'm also struggling, to be honest. I am in APC, but I'm looking for projects that I can bring to my state in partnership with him, and he has been giving me the collaborations that I need. I've been giving the support that I need. It's not a job of one person, it's a job of all of us in government coming together. Look at what Dr. Kalu is doing in Abia North. 19 roads are going on as we speak. 19 roads are going on as we speak, 2-kilometer roads. And he's not taking that road out of Abia State. He brought it to Abia State to help develop. his state. So if we develop the north, another person is focusing on developing the south, another person is helping him develop the central. By the time he brings the little that is coming from him, the place will be open. So this is my way of raising a call to everyone in the state to look at the the need for us to join hands in building our state. We have only one state, but himself also should look inward and look at those he has put to be in charge of all this. Are they helping him, or are they self-serving?
Okay, there's this call, Honorable, by some people, even your leader, the party leader in the state, talking about Senator Kalu, that Southeast governors should come over to your party, the APC. Even Dave Omahida just defected, also called on other Southeast governors to join the party. And at this moment, you've spoken so much about the governor being your friend. Can you tell us, has he muted any idea of coming over to APC in the nearest future?
Let me start by saying the new wave in the Southeast now is a very good one. The Southeastern governors are becoming wiser, because you cannot be in opposition of the ruling party and develop the region the way you need to develop it. The regional economic integration that we are seeking, the regional development integration we are seeking, cannot be achieved by splitting the region into three. One part of it is ABGA, one part of it is PDP, one part of it is APC, and the central government is APC. There is no wisdom in that. Let's forget about our political affiliations. There's no. Look at how what is his name, Omahe, in Ebonyi State, have been able to attract a lot of federal presence. It's because of his romance with the center, whether you like it or not. If you don't have a romance with the central government, you are denying your people in your state a whole lot. Because like I told you about participatory observation, you need to be at the center when they are sharing this to take the portion that belongs to you. I'm at the federal government. I'm there at the federal house. I see the kind of trading that goes on there, give and take that goes on there, and you see, many states are benefiting because they are associating with the federal government. We cannot be alienated. Who suffers at the end of the day? Abians will suffer. So it is important that all the states in the southeastern region begin to think about coming as a formidable bloc, which will increase our stake when we get to the negotiation table for anything we want from this federal government. If we are in these splinter groups, I can assure you nobody will take us serious, because politics is about number. It is the game of number. The lesser you have, the lesser you are considered. The more you have, the much you are considered. And let me tell you, it is not a humbling experience to switch parties. It has been done by so many of them. Dr. Kalu, my mentor, switched parties. We were in PPA, we were in PDP, we went to PPA. From PPA, we came to APC. It did not reduce the hair on our head. It did not reduce our height. It's all about wise decision. My father-in-law, late Professor Noah, used to say, a wise man do change his mind. That is why you can retreat one step backward to enable you jump 2 steps forward. Abia need to retreat 1 step backward so that they can jump 2 steps forward. Okay. And the way to jump 2 steps forward is by forming the necessary, affiliations, forming the necessary bonding with where things are happening. That way you see the springing up of infrastructural development better than it is at the moment. Remember, this state was under PDP when PDP was in charge of the federal government. Now PDP is not in charge of federal government. What are we doing in PDP? Because we will be suffocated. Because Dr. Ikpeazu will be struggling. All those who are trying to tell him not to take the right decision and do the jump now, which is upward jumping, not downward jumping.
Honorable, let me...
They should desist from doing that, because it is not to the interest of our party.
Okay.
It is to the interest of our state, It is to the interest of our state that he is within the circle where decisions are made. So I will celebrate him any day he makes up his mind to join the ruling party. not for himself, but for the state to benefit from there.
You talked about splitter group and here and there and all that. Let me come to your party, the APC. Do you have any splinter group?
We don't.
Okay, but I understand that the Minister of State for Mines and Steel Development, Uche Oga, has never attended any of your caucus meeting. And also, Ikechi Emenike, has he also attended any meeting of your caucus?
The last meeting we held, Dr. Choga was representing the president in Egypt. That was why he didn't come. The one we had 2 days ago, he was in Egypt signing a contract for mines and steel.
Okay,
and he sent his apologies. The one we did before that, he was also representing the president on an assignment.
Okay,
and he sent his apologies. When you hold meetings and people send apologies that they are not able to come because of 1, 2, 3, and they are verifiable information, you cannot say that the person is not with you in that meeting. The person has sent. It's one of the ways of registering your interest in the meeting. We don't have any splinter group.
What of Ikechi Emenike? Is he still part of you?
Of course, he's part of us.
Has he been attending caucus meetings?
When he's available, but we have not seen him. But I'm sure when he's available, he'll be there. That has nothing to do with the split. We don't have any splinter group in APC. APC is a formidable bloc in Abia State. We are very formidable that the structure is being built from ward level to state level, and we are confident that come 2023 we are taking the state. That's the truth, and that is why we want the ruling government now in the state to join the party so that we can take the state together. If they fail to do that, we will take the state with the mandate of the people that we already have behind us, and that is the truth. But if they come in now, we can take the state together, join it to align it with the federal government, and develop our state better. That is my own interest, and that is the interest of APC.
Honorable, next month the ASIC, Abia State Independent Electoral Commission, will be conducting local government election. You've been in PDP before, and you saw how things were done. Now you are in APC in the opposition. Do you have confidence in the system?
I have confidence if they are doing election, not selection. And I believe what they are doing is election. Because it cannot be selection when you have asked people to go and buy form. And people have gone and paid money to buy form, and people have printed posters and billboards. If you go to Bende, you will see the amount of billboards you will not see even in governorship election around the state. That is how we run our politics. We give it all our push. We don't sit and wait for the governor to write our name on the paper, because that is selection. I know the governor does not want to do selection. If he wanted to do selection, he would have asked the people to continue as transition committee chairman. But because he wanted to do election, which is a process, a democratic process, and as an erudite scholar that is respected beyond the four walls of this government, that a man who has his mates outside there watching him from the academia, he will not make the mistake of the past. He will not. People are sitting at home instead of campaigning. They are saying edele anagi.
Maybe
okay, so let me forget about the past president. Okay, does Ikpeazu do things the way other people do their own things? I can assure you, many people will be shocked in this election. The places where PDP is strong, that is where they will win. The places APC is strong, we will win there. Okay. And we have already shown where we are strong in the last election, which was conducted by ANEC. We won overwhelmingly in Abia North. I may not defend the party any other place. When other people from other places come to speak, they can speak. I'm from Abia North. I can tell you, I can speak to you because I participated in the election. Okay. We are very strong. And if you bring it down to my local government, you saw how we campaign. You saw the debate on radio and television. You saw posters, you saw billboards, you saw how serious we were. We knew there was a sitting government, there was a ruling party. But the Ikpeazu doctor influence the outcome of the election in the Abia North? He did not.
No, because
he did not. No, let me
it was conducted by INEC, not ASIC.
No, it was conducted by INEC. But let me also tell you, a governor who really want to fight to influence elections will step into the arena and do things differently. The issues we had in Abia North was not that the state government came with their force to try to change things. It was that we won the mandate and some people were contesting it. It was not the other way around. It was not that they wrote the result and we were contesting it. It was that we won it overwhelmingly. Okay. And he was there when he was still sitting as a governor when he saw that we were strong. We won the senatorial zone overwhelmingly. We won the House of Representatives with thousands of votes. We won House of Assembly at Bender North overwhelmingly. We also won. No, we won in Isukuato clearly. When you come to Bender South, it was only 6 votes. Okay. So is it because of 6 votes in Bender South that will give confidence to PDP people in Bender that they have what it takes to win election in the next 6 votes? The only vote they got in the last election against APC was 6 votes. So let us be real. Okay. Where we are strong in Bender, we are strong in Isukuato, we are strong in Ohafia, we are strong in Umunochi, and we are strong in Aruchuku. So anybody who happen to do anything outside allowing our strength to prevail where we are strong and our weaknesses to drown us where we are weak is not being fair. And the international community have been invited. You might call it a state election. We are inviting international observers, and they are going to watch, including Professor Mpa, who is from the Abia North. They will watch him, and I'm sure he will not mess up his career. Honorable, because if he goes against the dictates of his mandate, that is fair, free and fair election, then international communities will be watching him, and he will not be able to leave this country. That is the truth.
It's okay. Let's now open the phone lines. Maybe we'll take like 1 or 2 calls before you now, take your final question, which will be on the PA.
All we ask for is fairness.
All right.
We are not saying doctor the election for us. We are saying allow the will and the desire of the people and the mandate of the people to take the day. If we lose, we'll clap for the winner. But if we win and you write it, there will be a that is unsurmountable uproar in the state.
08081826949 or 08116052949. Send your SMS on 08116052949. Hello? Okay. Hello? Hello?
Good morning, Jamaica.
Good morning. Welcome. Quickly. What's your name?
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner District. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Honorable Member, not Commissioner.
Okay, Honorable Member. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother.
All right. I remember Mr. Prince from the Monaco.
Go ahead.
Honorable, please, I would like to ask you just a single question. The bandwagon effect of most of the states from the APC expansion who have done their local government elections, and the bandwagon effect has taken place. What I mean by this, that the party won all. What if such a thing happens in Abia on the forthcoming election? Will you say that it is in rigged? That's my question.
Okay, thank you so much.
The answer to that question is that go and check those states. You will not see them having a senator. You will not see them of another party. You will not see them having a House of Rep, strong member of the Senate, chief whip of the Senate. You will not see them having the spokesperson of the House of Representatives in that area. You will not see them having the deputy chief whip of the House of Representatives in that area. So the difference is clear. Here we have a state that has shown that they won election in the areas they were strong for the governorship election, but the areas they were weak for the senatorial House of Rep election, they lost there, and that is true reflection of democracy. It will play again in the coming election, because the people who casted their vote for the senators who won, for the House of Rep members who won, for the House of Assembly member who won, they will not be going to farm that day. The same people will come back to cast their vote, and Dr. Ikpeazu will prove to the world that he is a fair, unbiased Democrat, because his career does not end in being the governor of Abia State. There are still a lot. He's young. There are still a lot in the future for him, and he will be judged by how he carried issues like this. The international community will be watching. So the comparison is not the same, because here we have a state made up of PDP, that got 2 senatorial zones and another party, APC, got one senatorial zone. So you cannot apply it the same way in all those states where APC got everything, and so if you come to local government, they got everything as well.
Honorable, while we leave the studio, just kindly tell us briefly what the situation of that petroleum industry bill. What stage is it right now at the National Assembly?
The time is not enough for me to discuss the petroleum industry bill, because it's a whole lot for us to talk about. You understand, since we found oil in 1958 up till now, we have not gotten a comprehensive law that addresses the issues bordering the challenges in that sector, and that is why Nigeria has not benefited so well from the oil, though we claim to be getting from it. We're not getting as we're supposed to gain, because of we don't have omnibus law that is comprehensive enough to address issues. We have 16 petroleum laws, but all those laws are not strong enough to be able to cater for the needs of Nigerians in that sector. That is why oftentimes we enter into JV agreement with the IOCs, unincorporated JV agreement with the IOCs, which we end up not funding our own part. And we have started, we diversified and went into production contract sharing agreement, which the international community is saying it is not as transparent as it's supposed to be. There is a lot of opacity around that. So based on all those complaints, we are now coming up with this PIB that have been there for donkey years, that have not been passed. And 90 told us that non-passage of this particular bill has cost the country about $200 billion over the years. And if we are talking about revenue, it is high time we put the laws in that sector very well to be able to block all the leakages and make sure that the interests of both investors and some of us who are the host country and us who are the host country benefit from the relationship. There's a lot to talk about in the industry.
Yeah,
I'm sure I thought I have 1 hour 30 minutes today.
No, it's not 1 hour. It's just
oh, really?
an hour. Yes, an hour. I'm sure we'll find time to talk more about this. And
invite me again to talk about PIB. So I need to educate Abia people what the PIB is all about. I want a section, maybe 1 hour, to discuss the PIB, and we can get other channels to tune in. That is the benefit of having a spokesperson coming from Abia to educate them on what we are doing there from time to time, for them to know what is playing out there, so that when they talk about issues that borders on our constitution, issues that borders on our laws, they speak from the point of knowledge. And that is the benefit I'll give, that Abia is supposed to derive from my position, and I'll give that free of charge.
All right, thank you so much. I've been speaking with the member representing Bender Federal Constituency at the Federal House of Representatives. He is also the official spokesperson of the Federal House of Representatives and Chairman, House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Honorable.
Thank you for inviting me, and listeners, thank you for tuning in. It's very unfortunate that we did not get a lot of phone calls because he's rushing and he's blocking some of the phone calls coming in. I like interactive section because to me that is a public engagement. Next time you invite me, please make sure we have space for the public to tune in, for us to interact and answer their questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My name is Ginika Olwa. The show returns, that should be on Wednesday. All right. Till then, please stay good. Good afternoon.